guys, it's Yahweh again. I'm here today to put all the Salamangreat cards in a tier list. Um, yeah, Salamangreat was a pretty good archetype last 2 years. It wasn't ever considered the best deck, but it was definitely a solid choice for most tournaments. Um, if going into tournament, you'd have to be very familiar with the deck to have a good chance of beating it. You'd have to know how to side against it. It's definitely a deck you would be building for. I guess again, I'll go over the tiers. S tier is like the most essential game breaking cards in the archetype. A tier are the cards that are really good, not game breaking, but still very solid picks. B tier are cards which filled a niche or had a spot in the deck but weren't like amazing, but they're still good. C tier cards are cards which saw play to some capacity or have capacity for some sort of play, and D tier are unplayable. Actually, for Salamander, just because there's so many cards, I'm gonna have to add an E tier as well. Like, just because there's so many cards. So D tier is gonna be cards which are unplayable, but like I could justify playing them at some point. And E tier are cards which are just unplayable and there's no reason to play it. Let me know where you agree or disagree with me. I know a lot of cards are very difficult to place. They're like on the boundary between like A and B or B and C, and it's very hard to evaluate. But I'm happy to discuss with anyone where they think a card goes. I'll explain my rationale behind every card as well. I'm going to look at all the cards as a whole, like not just how they are right now. So let's go. Almirage. Almirage is a Salamangreat card that doesn't see play in Salamangreat, but it's definitely an S tier card. On the basis that it's a generic link 1, generic enough that the monster has less than 1,000 attack. It opened up a lot of stupid strategies where monsters would just go to graveyard. So you'd send a Sandgun to graveyard, add Arborea to the hand, special summon Arborea to the zone it points to, and then you have the Needle Fiber combo. You can start an Orcus combo with a lot of cards just because Almirage exists. You just get monsters in the graveyard for free because of it. It turned Alistair into a 1-card Mechaba or Purgatrio. So yeah, just for what it does, as opposed to its effect or its stats or anything, it's an S tier card. You have Balinx next. Balinx is a S tier card. All your Salamangreat strategy started with Balinx. It added the Sanctuary, which was okay, but it's because it's a link 1. So it gets your monsters in the graveyard, so you can summon them back. It protects. You can banish it to protect your Salamangreat cards, which is a very powerful effect. And yeah, so all your combos started with it. It was very powerful in the deck. It stopped like Rage and Roar being broken in the mirror. It stopped your board from getting destroyed too easily. It protected your monsters from being destroyed by battle, making it overall harder for your opponent to break your board. You have Beat Bison. Beat Bison saw experimentation, so I'm going to put in C tier. So what Beat Bison does, let me read it out for you. So if you have 3 or more Salamangreat cards in your graveyard, monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon it from your hand in defense position, and then you can target a Firelink monster in your graveyard up to the number of face-up cards your opponent controls and return them to the extra deck. Then you negate the number of face-up cards your opponent controls equal numbers you return, and you can only use each effect once per turn. It saw experimentation just as an extra summon. It wasn't very good. It quickly got cut, but it's definitely not unplayable. Next you have Salamangreat Burning Shell. So its effect is special summon one Salamangreat monster from your hand but negate its effects. Then immediately after the effect resolve, you link summon one Salamangreat link monster using the materials you control, including the one that you summon. And then that link monster can't attack or activate its effects. During your main phase, you can banish from the graveyard, target one Salamangreat link monster in your graveyard, return to the extra deck. You can only activate one Burning Shell a turn. I don't think this card ever saw play, but I can see why it would see play. Like, a lot of times with Salamangreat, you end up with too many monsters in your hand, and they're just sitting there not doing anything. This gives you an extra summon, so that's pretty good. It gets rid of excess monsters in your hand. It's a quick play spell, so you can summon it and then link summon immediately for a big monster. It can't attack or use its effect, but it's not like the worst, I guess. Salamangreat Circle, it's an S tier card. It becomes any other Salamangreat monster, which is insane. So it cycled itself into any monster like Gazelle, Foxy, Spinny, all very powerful cards on their own. Also had a protection effect on a relinked Salamangreat monster, which comes up sometimes, but mostly it was just for its search effect. Its costless search effect's absolutely absurd. It's a quick play spell, so you can activate it in the draw phase to play around Droll Lockbird. Yeah. Next we have Salamangreat Claw. It's a E tier card. Let me just read it, what it does. So you equip to a Salamangreat monster. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and if attack defense position monster inflict piercing damage to your opponent. If it's equipped to a Salamangreat link monster that was relinked, during each battle phase, it can attack up to its link rating. Yeah, there's not much to say. It's like Big Bang Shot with extra steps. I don't see why you'd ever play it. Next, you have Salamangreat Coyote. So during the end phase, if it's in graveyard because sent there as link material, you can either special summon a Salamangreat that's not itself, or you add a Salamangreat that's not itself to the hand. Again, it didn't see play, but I can see why someone would want to play it. It's definitely not the worst card there is. Yeah, got 2000 defense, level 3. It's got everything that the Burning Beast want. It can add like Gazelle to hand. Yeah. Next, you have the Ritual Monster. E tier, I don't imagine you ever summon it, or ever want to summon it, or ever be able to summon it. I'm also going to put the Ritual Spell in the E tier as well. It's a Ritual Spell number, it has an extra effect. So you Ritual summon a Salamangreat Ritual Monster, you can tribute monsters from your hand or field. If you control a Fire Link monster, you can Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard by shuffling them into the deck. It's in its own possession, destroyed by opponent's card effect. You can special summon one Emerald Eagle, which is this card from your hand, ignoring summoning conditions. Emerald Eagle's effect, you can Ritual summon it with a Ritual Spell at the start of damage step. So you contribute a Salamangreat Link monster and gains the effect where it destroys the monster opponent it battles immediately. Yeah, I don't see why you'd ever want to play either one of those. Not very good. They take up too many cards. They don't promote your Salamangreat strategy. Falco is an A tier card. Falco was actually pretty good. It was a one-off, but it was a very good one-off. You can return a Salamangreat monster on the field to your hand to be able to special summon it from the graveyard. So that was often like a Gazelle, an excess Gazelle or something. And its other effect is when it's sent to graveyard, you can set a Salamangreat spell or trap from your graveyard. So when it's detached off Dweller, or if it's sent from like Jaguar or something, you get Circle back or your Rage or your Roar. Very powerful. I thought it was very good. It's not broken, but it's definitely a very solid card. Next card is Salamangreat Fennec. So its effect is if Cyber's monster you control a special summon from the extra deck is destroyed by battle card effect, you can special summon from the graveyard, banish it when it leaves the field. And if it's sent to the graveyard as a material for a link summon of level 2 or higher Cyber's monster, you can add a Salamangreat normal spell from your deck to your hand. I guess it's a free special summon, I suppose. Probably D or E tier. There's not many normal Salamangreat spells I can think of outside of like Fusion of Fire and whatever this one's called. I don't think it's completely unplayable. It's level 3. It's special summoned itself at some point, so it's probably I can justify playing it in some capacity. Next you have Foxy. Foxy is an S tier card. It's very good. So when you summon it, you can look at the top 3, and if there's a Salamangreat card amongst them, you can add one to your hand and shuffle the rest in. Or if you have if there's a spell or trap on the field, you can special summon from the graveyard, and then by discarding Salamangreat card, and then if you do, you special summon and destroys the card. So this is how you get rid of there can be only one, and how you beat all the shit decks by summoning it from the graveyard. Sometimes your hand's broken, you normal summon it and make it even more broken, or sometimes your hand's really bad and you summon it and you try to fix it, or most of the time your hand's just okay. You don't use the effect, you just use it as an extra body. It pairs with Spinny for full combo. Overall, just a very, very good card. Next you have Foul. Foul's a B tier card. Foul was in most lists, but also you could justify not playing it. It's a level 4 that special summons itself whenever a Salamangreat monster is summoned to the field, or your field now. It got errated in the OTS pack, which was kind of like, it didn't come up very often when we'd summon on your opponent's summon, but it did come up sometimes, but it was never why it was like even good. So it was mostly used because it's level 4, could facilitate the summon of an Abyss Dweller or a Baguska with Falco or Jaguar. Its other effect is that you can send a Salamangreat card from your hand to graveyard and then Gaioku one of their spells and traps, and that wasn't once per turn, so you could use that several times. It's got 1800 attack. It wasn't the worst card, but it was definitely not an A tier card. And then you have Foxer. Foxer saw play in the OCG, big paired with Foxy, to get rid of like excess multi-rolls and stuff. So when you have 3 Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, you can send it from your hand to the graveyard and target a Salamangreat Link monster in your graveyard, and 1 spell or trap in your opponent's controls, and then so you return the targeted Salamangreat, and then you destroy the spell trap. And then if a spell or trap is destroyed and sent to graveyard on the field, you can special summon in defense position. So you would Foxy destroy something and then special summon this back. Cute combo, but it wasn't amazing. It saw play in early days, but not much beyond that. Next you have Fusion of Fire, the B tier card. Yeah, that's all I can say about Fusion of Fire. It saw a lot of play in World Championship qualifier season because Salamangreat was a very highly represented matchup. It also got rid of like Shizuku's and stuff in the Sky Striker matchup. It's on Violet Chimera. It was Blood in the Mirror match. It was never like really amazing, but it was something that could steal your games. A lot of time people would say that was very average. Yeah, it's a B tier card. Gazelle, on the other hand, is definitely an S tier card. You wouldn't play the deck without Gazelle, really. So it can special summon itself, which is huge. And then on summon, it sends a Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard. Most of which you can get back in some way, shape, or form. So it's very good. You can make Mirage Stalio with it, so it was very good. Next, you have the counter. Is it counter trap? Let me see what's got. Salamangreat Gift, continuous trap. So you can discard a Salamangreat monster and send 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck to the graveyard, then draw a card. If you control a Salamangreat Link monster that was relinked, you can discard a Salamangreat monster and draw 2 cards, but you can only use 1 of those effects per turn and only once that turn. So if this card in a vacuum is actually pretty decent. It's a D tier card. I can justify using it in some like limited format or something. If you think about it, if it was any other archetype, like not Salamangreat, it'd probably be like busted. But because it doesn't go towards a Salamangreat win condition, it probably isn't like any higher than D tier. You wouldn't play it in Salamangreat. But yeah, it in theory is a very good card. Heatleo is a A tier card. Heatleo was pretty strong. It was how you got rid of a lot of problematic monsters. It's how you push for damage. You can make one of their strong monsters weak. You make one of your weak monsters strong. When you summon it, you spin a spell or trap, and then you relink and spin another one. So it was really good at closing out the games and getting rid of problematic spell and traps. It was also really good against control decks because you'd just summon one turn 1, set the rage, and then you'd be able to destroy 3 cards with it. Yeah. Jack Jaguar, A tier card. Jack Jaguar was very essential in the strategy. It recycled your Sunlight Wolves and your Mirage Salios that had piercing, which never came up. The 1800 attack was really strong, and it's how you'd push for a lot of damage. Next, you have Mir. Mir's effect is so if this card's added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can reveal it and special summon it. And if this card's in your hand, you can discard one other Salamangreat card, special summon it. So it's a Salamangreat with special summon itself. So you can justify playing it in some capacity. Probably wasn't the best. Probably wasn't the worst either. It's a water pawn. Salamangreat water pawn, basically. Next, you have Mirage Stalio. Mirage Stalio is definitely an S tier monster. It's like Invoker, MX Saber Invoker. It's special summon monster from your deck, so it's very, very powerful. Summon Gazelle, so summons a level 4 to make Dweller. And when it's linked for a Salamangreat monster, usually Sunlight Wolf, you get to return a monster your opponent. Return a monster on the field to the hand. You can return your own Gazelles. You can return any of their problematic monsters. Without Mirage Stalio, getting rid of monsters just became a lot harder for the deck. Next, you have Mole. Okay, Shoka's probably going to hate me for this, but I'm going to put in the C tier. It did see some sort of play. Basically, during the main phase, it was Link Summon. You can if you Link Summon that turn, you can special summon it from your hand to a zone that a Link monster points to. And if you control no monsters, you can banish it from the graveyard to basically Pot of Avarice to Salamangreat cards. You can only use each effect once a turn. It saw some play. It wasn't B tier. It like, I don't know, it's like low B, high C. I can't justify putting it next to Foul. But it did see some play of some sort. Yeah. Next we have Paro. Paro is like D tier as well. It saw play because a modified life point. So when your opponent monster declares an attack, you can special summon it from your hand in attack position, and if it's special summon, you can target one Salamangreat monster in your graveyard, and its attack becomes this card's attack becomes that target. Or you can tribute this card and gain 2,000 life points. So people with summon off Mirage Shallow tribute to gain 2,000 life points at win in time. We call those people cheaters. But because it's sword play, we're gonna put it in C tier. Next we have Pyro Phoenix. So Pyro Phoenix, when it's link summon, you can when it's relink, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. Otherwise, normal fate, you can target one link monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it, and if a link monster special summon to your opponent's field, you can target one of those monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. So if your opponent has a Borrelsword or Borreload in their graveyard, you can summon it to their field and then deal 3,000 damage to them. I've seen that happen. It does actually do a lot of damage. But itself was this B tier card. It wasn't in every deck. It wasn't even amazing in the decks that people played it. It came in Starlight Rare, which is good. Yeah. Next you have Raccoon. What's Raccoon do? So when your Salamangreat monster is targeted for an attack by opponent's monster, you can send it from the hand to graveyard. Then the two monsters, you would gain life points equal to attack your opponent's monster. And also, your card can't be destroyed by battle. And Salamangreat monster destroys opponents by battle and special sends to graveyard. You can add this from the graveyard to your hand. Just the worst power, really. Yeah. Rage is an A tier card. It's how the deck controls. Some people played 1, some people played 2. It was definitely very powerful. It was able to destroy up to 3 cards for free. And at worst, you just discard a Salamangreat to destroy a card. It's not that's not even the worst case scenarios. Raw is also an A tier card. It could negate anything as long as you control a Salamangreat link monster. And then if you do relink a Salamangreat, you can set it from your graveyard. Very powerful. Nothing too game breaking. Just the generic Infinity Barrier of the deck. Salamangreat Recurrence, you target 2 Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard and with different names and add them to your hand. If this set card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to graveyard, you can add 1 Salamangreat spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except Salamangreat Recurrence, and you can only use each effect once per turn. I could probably justify playing this in some limited capacity. You just add 2 cards to your hand. Sanctuary, on the other hand, A tier card. It was really good in strategy. A lot of your combos used Sanctuary to easily relink themselves for effects. A lot of times you would banish it with Desires and it would suck, but you'd still be able to play. Sometimes you drew this card, it sucked, but yeah, it wasn't that crippling. Spinny, on the other hand, Spinny's got S tier usage, but it's only got the power level and A tier cards. It's definitely like somewhere in the middle. It doesn't really do anything except special summon itself from the graveyard as level 3. It paired well with the Sea Archiver, that Seahorse card. It paired with Foxy for full combo. Other than that, it didn't really do anything else. Gained attack points, I guess. Sunlight Wolf's an S tier card. It takes 2 monsters to summon it. It's got 1800 attack. But it always gets you 2 cards back, which is really powerful. It's how you win, because you use this card to... you just get multiple copies of Rage and Roar and Circle for advantage. You'll be able to get back any fire monster as well, so you can add Gazelle back, you can add Foxy back, you can add Ash Blossom back, you can add the Gizmek Kaku back. Yeah. And the next card is what is the next card? Do Violet Chimera. Violet Chimera is a B tier card. Summon with Fusion of Fire in the mirror match. It was okay. It was only as good as Fusion of Fire. In every other deck, it was like in Danger FTK and stuff, they would play Super Poly to be able to out this deck, and it was one of the deck's greatest weaknesses, like Super Poly. A lot of stupid decks would just Super Poly your board and turn off all your traps. So it's just B tier card. So Salamangreat Transcendence. You target a Salamangreat link monster you control, you special summon 1 link monster from your extra deck using that material. So it's a Sanctuary without a Sanctuary. I could justify playing this, but that's about it really. Yeah. I guess it's probably not the worst card, but it's pretty bad. Will of the Salamangreat's an A tier card. It saw a wide variety play between 0 and 3 copies. So once per turn, during your main phase, you can special summon 1 Salamangreat from your hand or your graveyard. Or you can send it from the field to graveyard, target 1 relink Salamangreat on your field, and you special summon in defense position Salamangreat monsters with different names. No, they can be the same name. Yeah, as long as you special summon Salamangreat monsters and face up defense position equal to its link rating. and you can only use one effect per turn. So it's either Soul Charge or it's just an extra summon. It was really good because it got rid of excess monsters in your hand. Or you could just Soul Charge. So people play it various amounts of it. You could protect it with Balinks as well, make it very hard to remove. Yeah, very powerful. It could even be B tier, but I think it's good enough to be A tier. Next, you have Wolvie. So a monster that was link summoned using this card as material can't be destroyed by battle or card effect for the rest of the turn. You can only use one of the following effects. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target a fire monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So ideally special summoning it off, like Will itself. Or if this card's added from the graveyard to your hand by card effect, you can reveal this card and target one fire monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. I'm not sure why you'd have to reveal it if you added it from your graveyard to your hand. But I don't think it's the worst card. You can add it off Sunlight Wolf and get an extra add. You can special summon it off Will and get an extra summon. It's level 4. We don't have the rank 4 Salamangreat in the TCG yet. I don't think it's too impacting, but I can see why someone might want to use this card. It's got 17 auto attack. And then the last card is a Zebra. Zebra's effect, when this card's in your graveyard, if Salamangreat Link monster you control leaves the field because of your opponent's card effect, you can special summon 2 level 4 Salamangreat monsters from your graveyard and negate their effects and immediately XYZ summon a Salamangreat XYZ monster using only those 2 cards. And then whatever you XYZ summon has 300 attack more for each material under it. Even with if we had the rank 4, it'd probably be D tier. Without it, it's probably like E tier. I don't see why you'd ever use it. Your Salamangreat Link monster's never going to leave the field by your opponent's card effects. Very rarely. Yeah, it's a pretty big archetype. There's a lot of cards in there. Please let me know what I've probably missed out a lot of things. So let me know what you think of this current tier list. Where would you place the cards? Where do you agree with me? Where do you disagree with me? Where am I blatantly wrong? Yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know what archetype you want me to do next.